Today I'm looking at this Yaesu FT416 2-meter HT. I got to do two things to it for its owner. And the first thing I'm going to do is fix this rubber duck antenna. The insulation on it's cracked and the innards are showing, and the owner has taped it up, but I'm going to remove the tape, clean everything up, and put some shrink tube on there. And then the next thing that I'll do is I need to open it up and change the battery that allows it to retain its memory. Okay, so before I work on the radio itself, I am going to fix the antenna. So I've removed all the old yucky tape, and I've cleaned it up with some isopropyl alcohol here to get some of the adhesive off. And I've got a couple sizes of shrink tubing. I'm going to put this size on first, and that'll kind of cover the taper. And of course you can see the exposed spring there. So I'll cover the taper with this first, and it doesn't quite go over all the way, but it'll work. And I'll shrink that down, and then I've got some smaller diameter stuff that should hopefully be able to kind of overlap that and just help out with the top here, because I think the top is a little bit brittle. I'm just running the heat gun on medium here just so things don't happen too fast. It looks like everything's conforming nicely. Okay, so now I've got this smaller piece cut to length, and I'm just going to slide that over as far as I can get it, and it's cut a little bit longer than the end of the antenna, so hopefully it'll seal up a little bit. And now we'll just shrink this down. Alright, just for the sake of reinforcement, I've decided to cut a second short piece of tubing here, and I'm going to shrink that down onto the brake, just where the brake is, to try and help it a little bit. Okay, I've got the radio apart now to look at the battery, and to take it apart there's just two screws on the back, one here and one on the other side. And then there's two screws here on the bottom plate that need to come out, and this radio for whatever reason only had one in there, but there should be two. And just kind of gently wiggled this apart. And you want to be careful because there's this flex cable in here that's kind of delicate, and we don't want to stress that too much. But you can see the battery here, and it's got some kind of coating all over it that'll need to be peeled off. And then, of course, it's got welded on tabs, and then it's soldered into this board. So I think now this board will need to come off, and all this coating will need to be peeled off. Okay, so what I decided to do here, you can kind of see, is I peeled away some of the epoxy coating that was around this battery here. And then I pried away the tabs that are welded, spot welded to the battery with just a small flat-bladed screwdriver, and I was able to just pop those off by just prying gently on it. Okay, so I was able to divorce the battery from its housing, and this is a CR, what is that, 1220, and you can see it's a little distorted from popping the welds. And so now I've got these tabs here, and I've got them spread apart. I want to be careful. I mean, they seem pretty rugged, but I don't want to break them, because this epoxy and plastic is just a mess in here, and I don't want to have to fool with that. So now I think what I need to do is try and source a battery about this size and the right voltage, which happens to be 3 volts. That because the battery slips into this little nook here. Okay, so you can see I've got the hemostats here clamping the battery to the tabs, and you'll notice on the end of the hemostats I've put a little heat shrink tubing to prevent the hemostats from shorting the battery out. Okay, got the battery in, and if this will focus, you can see here that this is not the neatest soldering job that's ever been done, but it seems to be holding, and I think it'll be better than what was there. Yeah, you can see that looks like a big booger, but anyway, I already destroyed the original battery that I bought at Radio Shack, this one, because I got it too hot using the soldering gun. So I ended up going to the local Rite Aid pharmacy, and I found this battery, which was a little thinner, but same voltage, 3 volts, and same diameter, and about half the cost of what Radio Shack was charging. So anyway, that's what's in there now. And I think what I'm going to do now is take this piece of shrink tubing and slip it over here and shrink it to kind of take the place of all that epoxy that was on there, and that'll keep the battery from shorting to the case where it goes in there. Okay, so here you can see I've got the heat shrink tubing on there, and then I put a little piece of tape at the top to cover the little opening that's left. Okay, here's the radio all back together. Just got everything sealed up good. The 2 screws in the top, and well, this radio only had the 1 screw, but I was able to find a screw in my junk box, a little one, that was the right size to complete the bottom cover here. Okay, and here is everything functional again, and you can hear I've got my my other 2-meter rig on the other side of the shack here going, and you can hear it receiving. Test, test. 1, 2. Test, test. Okay, so I'm looking at the Yaesu FT416, and I've replaced the memory battery, and I've let this sit for about 48 hours with the main battery disconnected. Okay, and I've put the battery on and fired it up, and I'm not sure how visible the screen is there, but you can see some repeaters programmed in here into memory. Oh, that one's there's even something down here in the cellar. So it looks like this was a success.